The Archaeology Murders. A Raven Darkblade Mystery. Chapter 3. The Banana Peel of Doom. Detective Raven Darkblade stood in the ancient Egypt section at what he was 87% sure was midnight, currently 5 feet 10 inches with temporal uncertainty. He'd set 6 alarms, written midnight equals 12 at night on his hand, and even asked a helpful janitor to remind him. He'd still shown up at 11:47, 12:13, and now, hopefully, the correct time. "It's 12:03, Corvus Lightknife said from behind a sarcophagus, making Raven jump and knock over a canopic jar. Reproduction, thankfully. "Corvus, are you my backup?" Raven's height bounced to 6 feet 0 inches with relief. "I'm observing." Corvus stood in the shadows like a very well-dressed gargoyle. Midnight meetings are statistically dangerous. Someone should document what happens. For the record. "That's thoughtful. Want to share my sandwich?" "I brought 2 because I forgot I already brought 1. Raven pulled out 2 identical sandwiches, both somehow already squished. "I'm fine." Corvus made a note. Probably about sandwich redundancy. They waited in the darkness, surrounded by dead pharaohs who'd had better preservation than Raven's sandwiches. The museum at night was different. Every shadow could be a mummy. Every sound could be a curse. Or janitors. Mostly janitors. At 12:17, Raven had finally synchronized his watch. A figure emerged from behind the Temple of Dender display. They wore the standard mysterious figure outfit. Black hoodie, unnecessary sunglasses, dramatic walk. "Detective Darkblade," the figure whispered. "You came." "Several times." Raven agreed. "I'm bad with midnight." The figure paused, clearly not expecting that response. "I have information about the murders. The truth about what lies beneath." "Beneath the circus?" Raven asked eagerly. "Deeper. Older. The circus was built on something else. Something that explains everything." The figure pulled out a rolled papyrus that was definitely from the gift shop. "The ancient texts speak of it." "You mean the hieroglyphics?" Raven squinted at the papyrus. "This says, my grandparents went to ancient Egypt, and all I got was this papyrus." "The other side," the figure hissed. Raven flipped it over. Someone had drawn a map in crayon. Purple crayon. "Purple," Corvus observed from his shadow. "Interesting choice." "Follow this map," the figure instructed. "It leads to the true discovery. But beware. Someone doesn't want this found. They've killed twice already." 3 times, Raven corrected. "Vernon, Patricia, and..." He paused. "Wait. Has there been a 3rd? "Check the excavation pit," the figure said ominously. "Lower level 3. You'll find Dr. Marcus' manuscript. And Detective, watch your step." The figure vanished in a dramatic swirl of gift shop cape, leaving only the lingering scent of museum cafe coffee. "Should we check?" Raven asked Corvus. "Standard protocol would be to call for backup first," Corvus said, already walking toward the stairs. "But you don't follow standard protocol." "I don't even know what protocol is," Raven said cheerfully, following. "Is it like a fancy word for rules?" "Yes," Corvus said, making another note. "Exactly like that." Lower level 3 was the deepest part of the museum's excavation, where the ancient circus gave way to even older structures. The maintenance lights cast strange shadows that made everything look like it might attack or dance. In Crimson City, both were possible. They found the excavation pit easily. It was the one with police tape that someone had put up preemptively, which was either very prepared or very suspicious. There. Corvus pointed his pen light. Of course he had a pen light, into the pit. Dr. Marcus' manuscript lay at the bottom in a position that suggested falling, death, and poor life choices in that order. His fedora had landed dramatically beside him, like even his accessories knew about staging. "We should call Jenny," Raven said, already climbing down into the pit, because waiting was for people who understood protocol. "Don't contaminate the," Corvus started, then gave up. Raven contaminated everything just by existing. The pit was deep, carved through layers of history like a very educational cake. Raven could see the circus level, then older structures below, then something that looked almost mechanical. "He's very dead," Raven announced, poking the body with his sandwich. "Don't poke corpses with food," Corvus called down. "Sorry." Raven looked around. Dr. Manuscript had been holding something, a fossil brush and what appeared to be a golden ticket. "Corvus, he found a ticket." "To what?" "It says," Raven squinted in the dim light, "Admit 1, the great below, where up is down, and down is clown." Even Corvus's composure cracked at that. That's nonsensical. Or very sensical if you're a clown. Raven pocketed the ticket, which was definitely evidence tampering, but felt important. He must have found this right before he died. The killer pushed him to keep the secret. "Raven," Corvus said slowly, "look up." At the edge of the pit. Raven looked. There, perched at the very edge where Dr. Manuscript must have stood, was a banana peel. It was brown, gross, and definitely out of place in an archaeological dig. A banana peel? Raven's height shot to 6 feet 3 inches with realization. The killer used fruit, like the evidence room banana bandit. It's connected. Or, Corvus suggested carefully, someone was careless with their lunch. "Nobody eats bananas at midnight," Raven countered. "That's nighttime fruit crime." Jenny Shoutsloud arrived with backup, having been summoned by the preemptive police tape's silent alarm. Gary Godsthings had finally done something right. "Another archaeologist?" she sighed. "That's 3 in one day. That has to be a record." "And this one was killed with fruit," Raven announced, climbing out of the pit with the grace of a caffeinated octopus. "Fruit?" Jenny examined the banana peel. "This could be from anyone. The museum cafe sells bananas." "At midnight?" Raven asked. "It's 1 a.m., everyone corrected. "Time is meaningless," Raven declared, then pointed at the ticket. "But this isn't. Dr. Manuscript found something right before he died. Something about the great below." Corvus had been examining the pit edge with his usual precision. "The banana peel," he said slowly, "has been here for exactly 22 hours. "How can you tell?" Jenny asked. "Oxidation patterns, fruit decay rates, mathematical certainty." He pulled out a measuring tape because, of course, he carried one. Based on the placement and decomposition, Dr. Manuscript stepped on this at approximately 3:17 p.m. yesterday. 3:17, Raven exclaimed. That's when I was framing Barbara Blackstone, Corvus said under his breath. What? Everyone asked. Nothing. I said it's when I was claiming my lunch break. Someone must have left evidence from another case here. From the Banana Bandit case. Raven connected dots that weren't meant to be connected but somehow were. The killer is using old evidence as new weapons. Reduce, reuse, re-murder. Jenny called for the security footage, which Gary Godstings had actually remembered to back up this time. They gathered around the monitor as the footage played. 3:15 p.m. Dr. Manuscript entering the pit, excited, holding his brushes. 3:16 p.m. He uncovers something, pulls out the golden ticket, starts to celebrate. 3:17 p.m. He turns to climb out, steps on the banana peel that had been there all along, and executes a perfect comedic pratfall that would have been funny if it hadn't been fatal. He slipped, Jenny said in disbelief. That's it? No killer? No push? Just banana? Death by fruit negligence, Corvus observed, making rapid notes. Someone's leftover evidence became an accidental murder weapon. But whose banana was it? Raven asked the important question. Everyone looked at each other. The banana peel from the evidence room. From Corvus's elaborate frame job that Raven had accidentally ruined. That evidence had been logged, catalogued, and somehow ended up here. I'll check the evidence logs, Jenny said carefully. See who had access. Corvus's pen clicked once, precisely, nervously. So Dr. Manuscript's death was an accident? Dr. Bonesdry had arrived, looking relieved. Oh, thank goodness. I mean, how tragic. But at least it wasn't murder. But what about the ticket? Raven waved the golden admission. What's the grate below? Dr. Bonestree's relief evaporated. You found a ticket? An actual ticket? But those are just legends. Archaeological fairy tales. Fairy tales about what? Raven pressed. The grate below. The theoretical structure beneath the ancient circus. Some say it's where the management offices were. Others say it's where they kept the really dangerous acts, the ones too strange even for an ancient cursed circus. Like what? Raven asked, fascinated. Reality-bending performances, acts that changed the laws of physics, clowns that were actually funny. She shuddered. But it's just a legend. Dr. Manuscript was obsessed with finding it, said it would explain why Crimson City is the way it is. Weird? Fundamentally broken at a quantum level. But yes, weird works too. Corvus had been quietly examining the ticket. This is real gold leaf, real aged papyrus. This ticket is as old as the circus itself. So the grate below is real? Raven's height reached an impressed 6 feet 2 inches. Or someone wants us to think it is, Corvus suggested. Someone who's been guiding this investigation from the beginning. Anonymous tips, convenient evidence. Almost like they're helping us, Raven finished. I love when killers help. Makes my job so much easier. That's not... Corvus started, then stopped. Yes, Very helpful killers. How fortunate. As the crime scene team processed the pit, being careful of banana peels and other fruit-based hazards, Raven studied the golden ticket. It felt warm, which was probably his imagination, or radioactivity. In Crimson City, both were equally likely. "We need to find the great below," he announced. "It's what Dr. Manuscript would have wanted. Also, I really want to see physics-bending clowns." "Those don't exist," Jenny said. "Neither did ancient circuses until yesterday." "Fair point." Corvus had been making notes throughout, and Raven noticed his notebook was almost full. What did he write about so much? Shopping lists? Poetry? Detailed observations about Raven's every mistake? Probably that last one. "The ticket is the key, Doctor," Bonestry said suddenly. "Legend says the golden tickets were passes to the great below. But you'd need to find the entrance, and that's been lost for—" "Is it under the big top?" Raven interrupted. "Secret things are always under the obvious thing." "That's actually not a bad guess," Dr. Bonestry admitted. "I have my moments," Raven said proudly. "Usually by accident, but still." As they prepared to search for an entrance to a possibly mythical underground circus chamber, Corvus pulled Raven aside. "That banana peel," he said quietly. "It's from my case, my evidence. Someone's using my own precision against us." "Oh no," Raven said with genuine concern. "That must be frustrating. Having your perfect evidence cause imperfect murders." "You have no idea," Corvus muttered. "Don't worry," Raven said, patting Corvus's shoulder and leaving sandwich crumbs on his perfect suit. "We'll catch whoever's stealing your bananas. That's a crime against fruit and friendship." Corvus stared at him, made a note. Then, surprising himself, almost smiled. "Yes," he said, "a crime against friendship. How accurate." Behind them, the golden ticket glowed faintly in the evidence bag, waiting to admit one to the great below. Where up was down, and down was clown, and nothing was quite what it seemed, especially in a city built on ancient circus grounds that was built on something even stranger. To be continued acrobatically. Author's note. This chapter is dedicated to everyone who's ever slipped on a banana peel, though hopefully not into an archaeological pit. Also to evidence that gets recycled in unexpected ways. Any resemblance to actual ancient circus tickets is purely coincidental. Please do not use fruit as murder weapons, intentionally or otherwise. The great below does not exist and definitely isn't accepting visitors.